Ready for this?
Yep.
And you can just start us off whenever I point at you.
You're listening to Reading Between the Lines with your host, Drew Parker.
That is me. I am sitting here in John Starrett's apartment.
How's it going?
We have a special guest that will hopefully end up being a regular guest because we hopefully do a collab every week. We're planning on it.
Be a lot of fun.
Assuming this one goes well, which I have no intentions of it otherwise.
We'll find out.
I'm glad you're listening, and hopefully you stay tuned through all of our hot takes, so hot that I'll make your ice cream melt. But yeah, John, you want to go and start us off with a topic?
All right, great. So the Astros and Rangers are playing now. There's some sort of problem happening with this whole Hurricane Harvey thing. Tell me about it.
So to start things off, anybody in the Houston area, I feel for y'all. I've never dealt with a flood of that magnitude. Granted, Lubbock gets 3 inches and we freak out.
Definitely.
But y'all are going through some for lack of a better word, y'all are going through hell, and total loss, crazy loss. So even though sports is the most trivial aspect of this, because in reality, there's much bigger issues besides where games are being played or who's playing where. But just anybody who's listening who is from Houston, has family in Houston, or is going to Houston anytime soon, just stay safe, and you're in our thoughts and prayers. But as for the Astros and Rangers, it's oh gosh, I feel like it was a no big deal kind of thing that was blown up into something huge. Because I heard Mike and Mike talk about it the other day, which for those of y'all who aren't familiar, Mike and Mike is is a nationally televised show on ESPN, there was this big thing to where obviously they're not playing in Houston anytime soon because there's water everywhere, and they wanted to swap home and home series with the Rangers because I believe they play they're scheduled to play the Rangers in Arlington later this month.
Yeah, I think what they did is what they wanted to do is flip the two series. So
Right,
take
right.
the home series that the Rangers have and flip it.
And play in Houston later in that month, right?
Yeah, essentially.
And the Rangers declined. I don't want to say refuse is the right word because refuse has like a we're stuck up, we're not going to do it, what anybody says kind of mentality. But they declined. And then the Astros GM, I don't know his name, I haven't researched that enough, but the Rangers GM basically tried to come out ahead of the story, being like, he didn't rip the Rangers, but he was like, the Rangers made us exhaust all of the potentials, and then they ended up playing, and they ended up playing in Florida. Tonight's the second game of the series. They played last night as well. But details of it are kind of getting blurred because people are saying like, oh my gosh, what's happening to Houston, why don't you just switch it? That's the easy answer. Well,
yeah, it seems simple.
It is simple in a way, but the MLB has no precedent of doing so. A home and home series has never been swapped. There's been who knows how many catastrophes since the MLB started, and there's never been a home and home series swapped.
So what part of this do you think it plays into the Rangers being close to that wild card spot?
It plays everything into that. They were saying that they were going to play the game with the Astros with it was obviously not going to be in their home stadium, but they were going to play with the same rules as if the Astros were the home team. So they were going to bat second and all that stuff, and all the proceeds of the game were going to the hurricane relief, and that's still the case. But they would have made more money at Arlington than they are in Tropicana Field right now.
They were saying that they're just going to flip the home and away, but it would still be in Arlington.
Right.
So basically, be an away home game for them.
Right.
So that's why the Astros declined.
And it was. And the standings play huge into effect of this because the Rangers are right on the wild card. I think I haven't looked at this.
They're a few games back.
They're a few games back. Last I checked, they're like a game and a half back. I'm not sure what it is now. And they already have a road trip in the last 16 games, so they didn't want to extend that road trip and put any pressure on their potential playoff standing towards the end of the season.
I think the city of Houston right now is pretty much walking on eggshells.
Right.
Like anything could be taken,
right.
out of context.
And I mean, again, it was kind of both teams are in the wrong. I'm not saying that the Astros are all in the wrong or the Rangers are all in the wrong, but the Astros GM tried to get ahead of the story to make him look like the good guy, and then more details came out as to what they proposed, and it kind of the Rangers are in the wrong also, but it's not nearly as lopsided of a story as people think. I know somebody, I'm not gonna say their name, but somebody who's listening to this is an Astros fan, and
hey, me too, man.
You're
H-Town all the way.
And your opinion is not gonna sway me. Yes, logical, like, obviously they made a business decision over a morale decision, I guess you'd say. You're like,
it's about the business, it's about the company.
And anybody who says sports isn't a business is beside themselves, because sports is absolutely business.
Especially college football programs.
Right, absolutely.
Which we'll get to into a minute.
But it's a mess. I don't think it's a story that's going to linger. I think it was a story that came up and blew up for no good reason, because, I mean, again, nobody's totally at fault, but I think it was blowing up in the media as something more than it should have been.
It's kind of a sucky situation because you can't control the weather anyway. Right. So, there's no right move at this point.
Right. But and then it's I'm excited for football, and speaking of football, the always in trouble Dallas Cowboys.
Let's go pro before we go to the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
They're both a big bag of tricks.
Who knows what will happen?
The Cowboys, they open up their season on Sunday Night Football on NBC against the New York Giants at home. I, for one, love it. I don't like playing them every freaking opening weekend, but nothing gets me more hyped than Carrie Underwood singing that theme song. I'm telling you, that gets my blood flowing like nobody's business. But as for the looming story in the organization, Zeke Elliott, in the 6-game suspension, Roger Goodell is the judge, jury, and executioner. He has, I don't know how it's going to be stopped, but he is on a power trip.
Yeah, he is the law right now, and he's also the fall man. So
and so he dropped the hammer on Zeke. Now, again, like I said in my solo podcast a few weeks ago, I think a week and a half ago, is that under no circumstances do I ever support the beating or the just putting the hands on, not even beating, just the physical unwanted touch of any female in any circumstance. I am not for it. But as for this, with now if he did it, I'll back off my stance. If they prove that he did it, which I have not seen evidence of that yet. If you prove that he did it, I'll back up, be like, you know what, I agree with the suspension. You're all right. But they said he dropped the hammer of 6 games on a alleged. Now, granted, everything's alleged until proven guilty.
Sure.
But he dropped the hammer on a alleged domestic violence against. I don't want to. The Zeke called her a crazy girlfriend at the time. I'm not gonna call her that because being crazy doesn't mean you're lying.
Right now it does not look good.
Just having, even if she is crazy, her being crazy is not an excuse for Zeke to do that. Obviously, the lack of evidence is alarming. Now, I don't think he appealed, and the appeal trial started Tuesday morning. We're recording this on the Wednesday after, but his appeal trial started Tuesday morning, and it will go through tomorrow, Thursday. They're given the chance to have a brief on Friday, and a brief is basically like your last statement to why you didn't do it. That is up for discussion on Friday, and we're thinking it's going to be, or at least I'm hoping, so they can finally figure out who's starting and who's not. They hopefully will have a decision out I'm hoping mid next week, but if not, late next week, because again, they play in a week and a half, so you're running out of time to make a decision.
So, as a Cowboys fan, what are you hoping for in this suspension, or what are two things that are possibilities that you hope for?
I guess it's kind of my hope is on two different sides of the spectrum. I'm hoping that they realize how much lack of evidence they have, and I don't think it's gonna go. I don't think it's gonna go zero. There's no way it goes zero. This has been too much of a process for it to go.
Yeah, unless they were to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Because the investigation lasted 14 months. Like nothing lasts that long without some kind of effect at the end of it. I would like to see it go 4 weeks suspension instead of 6. Football aside. Okay, I can't say that because I'm gonna literally bring up football. Because
this is all about football, yeah.
But because in the first 6 weeks, now it's 7 calendar weeks because the Cowboys' 6th week is a bye week, so it's 7 active games. 6 active games, 7 calendar weeks of the season. So if this suspension holds up, you will not see Zeke on the field until almost Halloween. Which thinking about that is nuts.
So who do they have to back him up if he does get suspended for those 6 games?
They have I just blanked. Why did you ask me that? They have
basically nobody. If they
have McFadden who
okay.
That's right. My mind blank just came back to me. They have McFadden and Morris. Now Morris again is I hope there's no risk in listening to this because if you are, stop listening because I don't like y'all. But not Eric. Is it Eric Morris? Anyway, I'm gonna go with the last name because I don't know his first name.
Okay.
But Morris is a old Redskins running back. He dropped off the cliff. He had a short stint of successfulness. Granted, he's still in the NFL, so that's a success as it is.
Yeah.
But he's an old Redskins running back, and then McFadden is another. I mean, decent. Granted, nobody is to Zeke's caliber, but there isn't many teams in the league that can say that they have 2,000-yard rushers as a backup.
Yeah, and I feel like the line will really play into that as well.
Absolutely.
Because until you get that push,
right,
like you have nothing.
Now if you want to pull up the Cowboys schedule, I don't know that off the top of my head. The first 7 games, because I know we have Green Bay and New York at home, which I think Green Bay's at home. I know New York is. We'll lose to New York at home without Zeke.
Okay, you got Giants, Broncos, Cardinals, Rams to start it off.
And how many of those away?
We got at Broncos, at Cardinals, and that's it until the 49ers in October 22nd.
So run through that again, keeping the Zeke suspension in mind.
Yeah, with the first 6 games.
Run through those, and I'll give you the win-loss that I think.
Okay, we got Giants.
Giants at home, that's a loss without Zeke.
Okay, at Broncos.
At Broncos, that's a tough defense that would probably stop Zeke no matter if he was playing or not. I think we that's at Broncos. That's a tough place to play. I say we, but they don't have a good quarterback to sustain offense.
That's true.
So I think we edge that one out close. That's a win.
All right. So at Cardinals.
At Cardinals, that is a team that 2 seasons ago they made the playoffs. We thought they were going to make it last year, but they had I don't know what it was. It wasn't rebuilding. It was just a fall off year. I don't know what happened to them. They'll probably be in the playoffs again this year. They're that caliber kind of team. Now it was on the road or at home.
At Cardinals.
At Cardinals. I think we win that one also because I don't think the Cardinals are the caliber team we are.
All right, home versus the Rams.
Home versus the Rams, that's a win.
Yeah, gotta take that one.
Easy money.
Versus Packers at home.
Gosh,
Aaron Rodgers.
I have over the last 3 years I have become. Aaron Rodgers is one hell of a quarterback.
He's great.
He is one of the best in the league. Every time I don't care how good your defense is. Anytime you play against Aaron Rodgers, you're in a shootout. And I still have saltiness from that last year because, oh my gosh. But at home, gosh, I want to say to win at home, but I don't know. I want to say Dak will outsling him, but it's hard to outsling Aaron Rodgers.
All right, and the final game he'd be suspended for, if it was 6 games, would be at the 49ers. That's a tough one.
I think that's an easy win.
Easy win?
I do, because the 49ers they're not bottom dwellers, but they're in that lower half of the league.
Yeah, they do play fairly well, and at least they have last year.
Right.
With your quarterback right now. They're playing pretty good all over. All right, those would be the 6 games. And so
Gosh, I think we might drop 2 of those just because of Zeke. Just because we're down late, we're up late, we can't milk the clock as well.
do you have you started? Was it 4 out of the first 6 you have winning, or 3?
I think I had
Giants
4. I think we're gonna drop. I think we're gonna drop
2 that you might have taken, maybe even Green Bay?
If we don't have Green Bay, if we had Zeke, we'd win. I think New York and Green Bay are the 2 that we will drop because of the lack of Zeke.
Okay. And so what's your season prediction overall for the
Overall, I had them going 10-6. 10-6 is I have them going to the playoffs. After that, who knows? Because crazy things happen in the playoffs.
For sure.
But I think the Eagles are going to be right behind us. Everybody's saying the Giants because they had our number last year. You know, they slipped us, and what? No, I don't care to hear that anymore. But by my Giants friends, even though I don't have many anymore. But I don't think the Giants may still have our number. I think the Giants are going to sweep us again. Not going to lie, because if we can't get them at home, I don't think we're going to get on the road late in the year. But the Giants are one of those teams where they managed to flounder at like 500 or just above 500 because they have no identity. I think they're going to go 8-8. The fact that they were on our heels the entire year last year was surprising because now they have a hell of a defense. Don't get me wrong. They have some shutdown corners, and they have some really good linebackers. They held Dez in check on that game in New York last year. But their whole offense relies on a 5-yard quick slant to Odell Beckham and hope he breaks a tackle and goes to the end zone. That is their only play.
It's a big weapon.
Right. I mean, he's good, but they're gonna start I'm surprised people haven't started bracketing him yet because he's the one trick pony. He's quick and you got good hands clearly, but he's a one trick pony.
Yeah. Okay. So just to kind of tie this together, Patrick Mahomes in the Chiefs Stadium now. What do you think about his potential? When he'll start? When all that will happen? Because that's one of your rivals as well.
He starts the last preseason game on Thursday, tomorrow.
Yeah, so he's gonna get what, like a half or a third of the game.
He may get a half. He may get a quarter and a half. I'm not sure. It just depends on how he plays.
Because they're resting Smith.
He has the highest QB rating out of all the rookie quarterbacks so far this year.
Dude, did you see that Seattle game he played? He played against a heck of a defense.
Dude, yeah, Legion of Boom is always scary.
Neither him nor Alex Smith, I don't think, scored an offensive touchdown. But
it was nuts. Yeah,
but he looked good.
But
even in that.
I think Alex Smith's day is a number to Casey. I think that I wouldn't consider him a high enough caliber quarterback to win a ring. He's more of a game manager than a game winner.
Yeah,
and
we've seen that for sure.
Right, and so I think I think he's a free agent after this year. I think they'll say farewells to Alex Smith, and I think Mahomes will get. Assuming they don't, find a diamond in the rough in the draft next year, I think Mahomes gets all the starts next year.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to bring Mahomes in starting next year.
Right. And
the fans will be going crazy.
And just to clear this up, I know I have some Eagles fans who are listening to this. When I say 10-6 for the Cowboys, I think we're gonna sweep y'all because we end with y'all. We end the season in Philadelphia. And I think that if the seeding is on the line, because last season we had the one seed locked up, we didn't need to beat y'all. I had a hard time watching that game because I'm competitive and I want to win every game. But if seeding is on the line, which it will be at 10-6, I think we have enough firepower to beat y'all at home. So sorry.
All right, sweet. Are you ready to switch to the Texas Tech stuff?
Oh, I don't know if my heart can take it, but sure.
Heart attack Tech.
Oh gosh.
All right, so I'm gonna basically list off every game we have, and if it's home or away, and then you give me your prediction. You don't have to give me a score, just win-loss.
Okay.
And keep tally, so you can tell me our overall record at the end, and I have mine as well. Okay, so first game, Eastern Washington at home.
Now, I'm gonna give you a little blurb on this game. Everybody who is anybody who doesn't know, I don't want to put ourselves on a pedestal, but obviously me and you know more sports than
the average fan.
Than the average fan, you know. No offense to people who are listening, but that's how it is. I'm telling you right now, if you don't think this is a game we can lose, you better watch out, because Eastern Washington is an FBS team. Yes, that is a tier under FBS, but they finished 4th in FBS last year.
One thing that I just found is we have an 87% win probability for this first game, but that doesn't mean anything. When you get
Absolutely
on the
not,
field.
absolutely not. And it's opening weeks are the biggest week to shock a Power 5.
And last year they did that against Washington State.
I was about to say that. Yeah, they came out and they beat Washington State, which for those who don't know, that's where Mike Leach is now coaching, and he has them, I believe, 24th in the preseason at AP top 25. I believe
they're
it's
a pretty solid team.
Yeah, they are. But they are a pass happy group. They finished 12. They finished 12-2 in their season last year, which they're no team to slouch on. As far as I think they're gonna win. Don't get me wrong. I'm not calling an upset by any means. But we need to win by at least 17. I would like to see 20, but 17 I feel comfortable.
Yeah, every year I look at the first game, and that gives me kind of a gauge of how our season's going to look. I remember in 2014 we came up, I got out against like Central Arkansas, I think it was, and like they almost
struggled. Yeah, and UTEP the year before.
Yeah, we barely pulled that out, and so those were indications of kind of struggles that we might face. Now I'm not saying they couldn't turn it around.
Now, if I gave you an over/under of 60.5, would you take the over or the under on the point total?
Man, I feel like they lost a lot of weapons on offense, and Tech's still strong as ever. I'd still take the over at 60, around 60.
60, I would hope that's like 40-20. I would really hope that. Now,
yeah, if we can hold them under 25.
The thing about the first game of the year is that you're not going to really take anything positive out of this game. Now, granted, if we hold them to 0, obviously that's a positive. We're not going to hold them to 0. But you know, what I'm trying to say, if we do anything good, the fans are going to come back and be like, well, it was Eastern Washington. He should have been doing good things.
Exactly.
And if we do something bad, it's like, oh, we suck still. So the only thing we're going to be taking out of this game, if anything, is going to be negatives. So I wouldn't read. Obviously, we should beat them convincingly, but I wouldn't take too much out of this game.
For sure.
So
hear that, fans. Don't freak out. Depending on week 1.
Right. Now, if we win by 7, then start worrying a little bit. But if we win by 17 and you wanted 25, don't freak out.
All right. So here's my breakdown on Eastern Washington. They have QB Gage Gubrid. I don't know how to pronounce that. But this guy last year, he was a very good dual threat quarterback for their Big Sky Conference. They were 12-2 last year. He had 53 total touchdowns. That's ridiculous. But there's some good things here. Okay, so his 2 best receivers last year were Cooper Kupp, who went to the Rams, and Shaq Hill.
That is good.
He's very
good, I guess.
And then Shaq Hill, who went to the Buccaneers. Together, they were 39 of his 53 touchdowns.
That's nuts.
2 of those guys gone. And so now the production is going to have to be replaced by somebody.
They're still going to be pass happy. This is not a running team.
Definitely.
It's kind of like, I would almost consider the tier, the lower tier Tech version, because they're just a pass happy team.
Very much air raid. Okay, so I have a victory in that week, and it gives us a 1-0 start.
I would certainly hope so.
Okay, yeah, we're definitely in agreement there. Are you ready to move on to Arizona State?
First of all, I want to harp on this one more time.
Okay.
Why do we have a bye week 2?
What?
Why do we have a bye week? Why do we have a bye week on week 2?
I think the thing that frustrates me even more than that is why don't we have a bye week till the end? And I know Tech has the whole we need time for finals thing, but other schools don't do that.
There's some years
fine.
UT has 2. I mean, and even saying UT angers me, but sometimes they have two bye weeks.
Yeah, well, we forced ourselves into one bye week.
It's like taking a pee in the first 30 minutes of a 10-hour car ride. It's obnoxious. I don't know who approved that schedule, but anyway, I'll get off my soapbox on that one.
Because, I mean, then we'll have 11 games straight, and then potentially...
That's conference play. That stuff gets hard hitting.
It doesn't start easy either.
Right.
All right, so we both are 1-0 at this point, and Arizona State, also at home, Just tell me a little bit about last year and what to expect this year.
Well, they lost their star quarterback. No, just kidding. That was Houston. I mixed up my teams. I apologize.
I think they got a guy from Alabama, actually.
Really?
He struggled there, but he transferred over.
Now, here. I hope nobody's holding ice cream or has a drink that they want to stay
Spit
cool, because I have a hot take coming out. Eastern Washington will not be the worst team we're going to face this year.
Really?
It's going to be either Arizona State or Kansas.
That is a hot take.
It's Arizona State is, I would consider it a rebuilding year. They're still going to get a bowl, because for them, rebuilding does not mean they're bowl uneligible.
Not eligible, yeah.
But I think that as long as you know who doesn't score 8 touchdowns on us again, that was hard to watch last year.
He's not that good. I don't know. He did the same play.
We made a mediocre back look like a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, he set the record.
Right.
And the same play, he beat us on 4 times.
It was
just like a sweep
nauseous.
to the outside,
But,
round of the corner.
Coming off a bye week, I think the fans are going to be hyped up, and it's a night game. It's 7 o'clock.
Dude, revenge.
It's revenge is best served cold, even though it's not going to be that cold, but it will be a night game, so it'll be a little chilly. Revenge is best served chilly. We'll just do that.
Lubbock wins.
But I think that's going to be a more convincing win than Eastern Washington.
Really? So you think we'll take a bigger lead over Arizona State?
I think we beat Arizona. Okay, let me slow down my horses here. I think we beat Arizona State. Arizona State, stop. I think we beat Washington State by 20. Washington State. Wow, Eastern Washington. I'm mixing up my team names.
Okay.
I think we beat them by 20. I think we beat Arizona State by 17, but I think it's close until the beginning of the fourth.
And then it feels like we just had enough
And
to
then
pull
we
away.
pull away, yeah.
So last year it was a total barn burner, right? They ended up finishing 5-7.
Right.
I didn't
I'm
even know that till I looked
We
this
made
up.
a mediocre team seem good.
We ended up losing. We scored 55 points
And we
and lost 55 to 68.
That's the Texas Tech style right there.
Man, that's incredible. Not many teams can do that. But there's a few things. It was late night. It was hot.
Oh, it was. I'm telling you, the sports writers call it Pac-12 after dark because weird things happen in the Pac-12 after dark.
But it was I feel like it was something near 100 degrees.
Right.
And the start time was 9 p.m.
It was 9
time.
p.m. It didn't end until about almost 1.
And that's ridiculously
Right.
late. And you can't expect a team that's been playing 11 a.m. games to get used to
Right,
this.
exactly.
And then go to a 9 p.m. game. So here's my breakdown on Arizona State. Blake Barnett is going to probably be their quarterback. He's a transfer from Alabama. I watched a game in which he totally got destroyed. I thought it was
Good.
pretty hilarious. Maybe he holds onto the ball too long. Maybe it was just good defense he was facing. But what I say is please don't do prevent defense again. In that Arizona State game, we were dropping cornerbacks 12 yards off the line of scrimmage.
They
was ridiculous.
They figured out the kind of plays we couldn't stop. It was called offensive ones.
It's great. That 7-yard slant that they had again and again.
Yep.
I was like,
but
are
great
we not going to key in on
that
this?
is hard to cover, but they got to do a better job on that.
Yeah, I mean, I was really dying to have Dakota Allen back at that moment because he was really good at blocking.
I can't
those.
wait to hear the first cheers from him. Because thanks to Netflix, everyone knows who he is.
What a
For those of
story.
you who listen to this don't know who he is. He was kicked out of the team because of an armed robbery.
Yeah, I think him and 2 offensive linemen
Right.
a few years ago did that.
And he went to EMCC, Eastern Mississippi Community College.
Last chance.
Yes, it is a college featured on Last Chance U, which is now a hit Netflix show in its second year. It's already signed on for a third year.
Really? Cool.
But I'm really hoping that people, thanks to Netflix, will know his name more and he gets a good standing ovation because that kid's been through the ringer. So
there is a transfer that Arizona State has. John Humphrey, he transferred from Oklahoma, and apparently he's a real weapon. And they've been really connecting with their quarterback right now. We do have a bye week to prepare, which
I guess that's thankfully.
which normally I would be like whatever, but since the way that we lost last game,
and since it, on the pro side of that bye week, it does give us a break and a chance of practice into honestly this game we're talking about, Arizona State and Houston, are the most crucial 2 weeks of the season. I'm telling you right now, they are.
We need the wins early.
Absolutely. Because if we go 3-0, we're golden. If we go 2-1, okay, that's good, but we still got to get a little scrappy down there at the end of the season. If we go 1-2, you can kiss our bowl goodbye.
Yeah, for sure. Like, there's a lot riding on these early games.
Absolutely.
So, what do you have happening at the end of this Arizona State game? You have us winning by 17?
I have us winning by 17. I'm about to sneeze.
Bless you.
There we go. Okay.
Live on the air.
But I'm allergic to failure. What can I say? It's fine.
The thought of failure makes you sneeze.
I just go achieve and achieve. But I have us winning by 17. It'll be close it'll be kind of like the Oklahoma game, to where it'll be 7 points to 13 to 7 to 13. We'll just be scoring after each other. It'll still be, I think it'll still be barn burner, but we'll pull
definitely
away late.
barn burner potential in this one.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I also have us coming out with a victory. That revenge is definitely on our mind. Everyone thought about a game where you score 55 and lose.
Right.
They don't want that to happen again. The defense will be fired up for this one.
Yep.
I have a winning streak at 2-0 for both of us.
And I'll tell you what, after that, the coffee that next Sunday morning will taste a little bit better just because of that game.
The whole town will brighten up.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so week 3, University of Houston at University of Houston.
Listeners, you might not see it right now, but I'm on the verge of tears just hearing that name. This game, I will literally be watching this with my hands in front of my eyes. I am so nervous for this Houston game. It's not even funny. They have a defensive end named Ed Oliver, who, for those of y'all who don't know, and y'all probably don't know, Lamar Jackson, who was the Heisman Trophy winner last year, he plays for Louisville still. He's in his senior year now, but he won the Heisman last year. He's still playing in Louisville this year. He was a Heisman Trophy frontrunner. Granted, he still ended up winning, obviously, but he was a frontrunner going into the Houston game. They played on the road as well. I'll tell you what, Houston Stadium only holds 40,000. That is the loudest 40,000 you'll ever hear in your life.
Yeah, they're ridiculously hyped for the game.
I was watching that Louisville game. That 40,000, you would thought that was 100,000.
Yeah, I talked to my parents, and I'm gonna see if I can go to that game.
Really, that'd be nuts.
Dude, that is going to be the teeth gritter of games this year.
People always say, Tech, our defense sucks, but I think the weakest link this year is going to be our O-line, and that's assuming they don't improve. I hope they do.
Me too.
Our season will only go as far as our O-line, because Nick Shimonek can be kind of shifty in the pocket, but he is not the scrambler Mahomes is, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that. But Ed Oliver, I believe if you're Nick Shimonek looking out in the secondary, I believe Ed Oliver lines up on his left, so it is blind side when he throws. And
just a little background: Ed Oliver is the first 4-star, consensus 4-star recruit ever to sign with a non-Power 5 school that we know of.
Freaking beast. He got. I was talking to you about Lamar Jackson, and he got, I think, 4 sacks on Lamar Jackson in one game. Yeah, he was hounding him.
He's ridiculously good. And a lot of times you have these 4-star guys, and they never really show out.
Right.
Braden Fajoka for Tech, we took a lot of plays off and ended up transferring to LSU.
Right.
And so this guy loves Houston, loves the school, and works his butt off getting into the backfield.
I'm honestly terrified because if we don't have a decent O-line, Shimonek might not live to see the 4th game. It's gonna be.
It's a scary situation potentially.
It makes just thinking about that game makes my skin crawl a little bit. I hate to say it, Tex fans, but I think we're gonna suffer a loss here.
All right.
I have us losing. Not blown out. The score is going to be more. It's going to be a more than one score game, but it's not going to be like 21 or like 17. I think we lose by 10.
That's pretty fair. I don't think it's going to be a low scoring game in any regard for sure. Okay, here's a few things I got. It is a potential trap game.
Absolutely.
Especially after whatever emotional things happened with Arizona State the week before. This is definitely a potential trap game looking ahead to the Big 12 and everything that's going to happen. It's at U of H. I wrote down no joke. Like these people are into
Oh
it.
yeah, absolutely.
They're crazy, passionate fans. They're tough. And Kyle Allen, I think he transferred from A&M, and now he's listed at the first string quarterback. This guy was good out of high school.
yeah,
never
absolutely.
really got a chance there at A&M. And then they have Duke Catalan, who is a beast running back. And the guy who I'm most worried about, I'm hoping we can shut down Steven Dunbar, the wide receiver, number 88. And so he is ridiculously, I think he's like 6'3", 2 something.
He's huge. Yeah.
And so he's a real threat. And if we shut him down, which I think we end up not shutting him down, but really holding him to less points, and I actually have a win here.
Really?
I'm very optimistic. Also, I think I'm going to go to it, so I really have to be optimistic and want to win here.
What is your point spread?
It's probably like a 5 points. 5 points.
That's going to give me some fourth quarter sweats right there.
Yeah. So just to give you people at home, the win probability is at 40%. And I don't know who does these probabilities, but
that sounds pretty accurate to me.
40% is about what I expect.
I would put it more like, yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. If I had to say anything, I'd say that was a little high, but yeah.
I mean, this thing does have us at like 4.5 wins, but,
right?
But it gave us 40%.
Vegas has the over/under on the wins 4.5. ESPN has it 5 and 7.
Yeah.
So,
which is a little scary. I'm optimistic, so we'll see what's going to happen in this
if
one.
we went 4 and 7, if we went 5 and 7, we would not have a coach, or we just wouldn't have the same one.
It wouldn't be Cliff.
Right.
He'd be gone.
Sadness.
I
Tears.
agree with that. Okay, so now after University of Houston, Drew's at 2-1. I'm at 3-0, and Oklahoma State. It's at home, but it's Oklahoma State.
You know, strange things happen at the Jones. We tend to be in competition or upset people that we have no business upsetting.
This is true. If it's a night game, man.
Dude, if it's a night game, this town's gonna get lit, as the kids say. We don't say that.
Yeah.
I promise I don't dab either. That's a lie. I dab all the time. But anyway, see my parents. No, that's Parents Weekend also. So I hope the parents have something to cheer about. Well, obviously, I would love to see every game being a win. Because 12-0 with the national championship would be fantastic. That's not going to happen.
Shoot, me too.
But I'll stay true to my original prediction that I posted on my Facebook and Instagram page, and I will call that a loss.
All right. So you are at, what was it?
2-2.
2-2. Okay, so Oklahoma State at home has had our number ever since I've come to Tech.
Yeah.
The last 4 years have been pretty brutal. I remember they just keep scoring points. And
I don't think we beat them
since
convincingly since 08.
07, 08. Okay, yeah. They have Mason Rudolph coming back.
Which people have him as a Heisman as one of the Heisman dark horses. Do you think that's good? He's that caliber quarterback?
I'd say he's one of the few best quarterbacks in the conference right now. But I don't think that he's Heisman.
I don't think he has
quality.
a team to carry him to that.
And they also returned James Washington, who is like the bane of our existence. We had like Justice Nelson covering him, and the moment he made a turn, it was done.
He was gone.
I mean, there's always like receivers like that in the Big 12,
right?
Like one per team, pretty much. That's just the guy to stop.
But
I also have us having a loss, Oklahoma State. And I think that's pretty.
They stole our hand sign, and they're going to steal the win too.
Xerox U. But yeah, we have a 32% chance according to this.
Speaking of Xerox U, have you seen the TCU thing on Twitter?
No, I haven't. Tell me about it.
Apparently they signed a bunch of recruits for 2018, and they started a new thing called Boots Up.
Boots Up.
Now, I don't know about you, but I've never seen a Horned Frog wear boots. Okay.
No, I don't even know if the mascot
their
does.
sign, for those of y'all who are listening to this, not watching us, obviously, their sign on that if you for those of y'all who have Twitter, if you go to the page and I guess just look for a picture of all the recruits, just standing up with the coaches, their sign is called Boots Up, and it looks like this. It's not a gun. It's not really a gun, but it's an L. Like
a boot, I guess.
It's again. From my knowledge,
they already have a hand sign.
From my knowledge, frogs don't wear boots. I don't know about you. I don't know about your experience, but I've never seen a frog wear any kind of footwear.
I've seen a cat in Shrek once, but other than that, I have not seen any
and that
frogs
was fake.
in boots.
Fake news.
Fake news. Well, I hope that doesn't catch on, honestly, because
Right.
that's
it's
pretty lame.
obnoxious. Yeah.
And the woo things they do is also really obnoxious,
Yep.
especially in baseball.
And the freaking paddles. Gosh, I hate going there.
Yeah, there's a lot of junk, but we beat them last time. Anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. So after Oklahoma
Wait, last
State,
time we lost them last year.
TCU.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about OSU. I apologize. Yes, you're
Sorry,
right.
TCU. Yeah, we're still on TCU.
Yeah.
We're good. So after Oklahoma State, that probably maybe a brutal loss. We have Kansas at home. What do you think?
At home?
I believe so.
Okay.
Maybe I have it backwards, but we do play Kansas.
Oh no, it should be at home. You're right, because we went to Kansas last year. I'm sorry, I got mixed up in my head.
Good.
I'm just making John look bad over here. No big deal. But
If anyone's still listening, he made me look bad.
all 3 of you, including me and John, so that's one more. But that's fine.
Thank you, loyal fan.
But the Kansas at home, easy money. Again, I think they are. They're a tier below Eastern Washington. They're a tier above. No wait, I'm sorry. I said it
About a
backwards.
few.
They're a tier above Arizona State, a tier below Eastern Washington. So, in my opinion, I think we handle them. So that what makes me 3-2.
Yes. Well, yeah. So you'd be 3-2 with Kansas
Right.
as a victory.
I don't think that needs much more explanation. It's Kansas. I mean, unless you're Texas, I'm not too worried.
Yeah, I agree with you. Kansas is still a few years from being relevant, in my
I'm
opinion.
telling you what, I have never laughed so hard in my life when I saw Texas losing to Kansas.
Oh man,
I literally looked at my phone and said, "This isn't real. Like, there's no way."
True story. Both my parents went to UT Austin, and after that game, I sent them a text, and they're like, "We know." It was just like classic. They were, oh my gosh, they were like, "Yeah, that just happened."
That is the only time I've ever sat through a Longhorn Network program was to see the replay of
and
that
enjoyed
game.
it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That was the first time since like 1938 or something
Right.
ridiculous. Okay, so both of us have a victory. I'm 4-1. You're 3-2 at this point. West Virginia at West Virginia.
Oh my gosh! See, in my opinion, our ceiling is 9-3 for this year.
Okay.
That's our ceiling. That is, if the stars align, that's our ceiling. I think we lose to Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, no matter what, and then we either beat Houston or we beat West Virginia. We don't beat both.
Okay, so you have like either or.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be a hypocrite and say we're gonna lose West Virginia.
Okay.
That's our ceiling.
Yeah.
That's what I'm predicting. But that's our ceiling. I think our ceiling is 9-3. But because you're not going to get both Houston and West Virginia, you're either going to get one or the other. And then there's no way you're beating Oklahoma in Norman. And obviously we've already gone over our picks for Oklahoma State, and we have a loss there. But that's a hard place to go. It's a long road trip. And West Virginia is not. They started in the AP top 25 last year. They rose to I believe 12, and then they dropped off the face of the earth throughout the end of that season. Now they are still a quality team, not the quality as they were last year, but they are still a quality team. So I don't think we get that on the road.
Okay, so you have a loss there.
Yes.
The win percentage at West Virginia is 48%, which is
that's surprising.
Exceptionally high.
That's surprising. I guess ESPN doesn't think they're the same caliber.
They must think there's something wrong with them for like they give us like a higher win percentage than
Skylar Howard is still there, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he left. But this is what I found. Okay, transfer QB Will Greer from Florida. He looks like he's pretty good. He got into some sort of trouble, I think, with the law or some sort of thing at Florida. But like now he's at West Virginia, I think, more than a year later. And apparently he's a talented dude.
Really?
Like he was a really, really good quarterback there before he got in trouble. And so they have Justin Crawford, the running back.
Mm-hmm.
That dude's shifty.
Yeah.
He's going to make some moves and make a man miss or two. And what I have for this game, they will force us to run the ball like they did last year, like whether it's dropping
last year, I have, last year was one of those years where, football season always seems like it takes forever to get here, and then it goes away before you know it.
Yeah.
That's how it is every year. But I'm telling you what, I don't remember wanting a season to end as bad as I wanted last year to end. Because last year was hard to watch. Yes, we were only
That West Virginia game was probably the hardest to watch
it
in
was.
person.
I've never left a Tech game early. I stay to the opening kickoff till the Matador song. I'm not saying I don't mean any offense to those who leave early. It's just my opinion and my preference. But
if you're hyped for the season for like 5 months, and
yeah,
then you
not,
leave for half
leaving.
of the game,
And this year, holla, I'm back at Tech, so I don't have to pay for any season tickets anymore.
that's pretty exciting too.
Right. Ready to just swap my ID in there and be like, holla. But yeah, I don't think we're beating West Virginia.
All right, so now you're at
3-3.
3-3. I'm at 4-2 with that loss. Yeah, that's a tough one. They're going to force us to run it. We're not going to be able to execute that.
I think now I kind of want your opinion on this because I haven't heard yours yet.
Okay.
I think our running back situation is not going to be as bad as they say. I said in my solo podcast a few weeks ago that Desmond Nisby is going to be a name that hopefully you'll be hearing a lot.
Okay, I have very high hopes for him as well.
He is 6'5", 6'6", 230.
I think he's like 6'2" or 6'3", but he is 235.
Yeah, he had a run in the fall scrimmage.
Dude,
he tossed the guy out of him.
Yeah,
it's kind of like for those of y'all who are from the Wesley who listen to this, Jacob, I don't know his last name. I know his last name. I can't pronounce it. The big. Yes, the Cody knows who I'm talking about.
All right, get this podcast to him so he can hear this.
The big Jacob. It's almost like if Jacob ate himself. That's who Desmond Nisby is. He's massive.
Yeah, like this guy is the kind of guy that you don't want to go head to head with.
Right. Oh no, you're losing that.
I think we've missed at Tech for the last few years has been this bruiser of a running back.
And I mean, Cliff even said we haven't had this kind of size of running back in a long time. Now, what are your thoughts on Felton and Stockton? Now, Stockton to me, I kind of got your opinion last year, just be at the games with you, as to where Stockton doesn't have the power to run between the tackles, but when he gets on the outside, you better watch out.
Yeah, and what I'm afraid of is whenever Stockton walks into the game, those linebackers shift to the outside ready for that run. And no matter how fast you are, if the guy's already set up for it, it's really hard to run.
You know, he's shifty, but he's got to get around guys. He can't go through them.
What I want to see Stockton do this next year is get right past the O-line, be ready for that little dump pass, and then break it free. Because his blocking has struggled a little bit, so that maybe just jump out and when they blitz the quarterback, you just be the open man, you know.
And for those of y'all who don't know, I believe it's Stockton, Nisby, and Felton on the depth chart right now. And I don't know much about Felton. You know, he's obviously a third string for a reason. No offense to him. It's just, you know, obviously he's not the caliber that the other two are.
Stockton's like 185, and Felton is like 205. So he's like a little.
I don't know much about his running style, but for those of y'all who are wondering where I just blanked on his name, for those of y'all who are wondering where Davion Ward is in this conversation. Cliff came out and said that he's not off the team, but he's had some academic issues and he will not be. He hasn't participated in camp yet this semester, and I don't believe he's on the depth chart at all right now.
Yeah, well, anytime you're out of the loop and you don't get those reps, it's really hard to work your way back in because other people have been proving themselves.
I wouldn't expect honestly. I would not expect to see Davion Ward this season. I really wouldn't. Now he wasn't a sensational talent. He was just a.
He averaged, I think, over 4 yards a carry, so that's not terrible.
It's not bad. He lacked the home run ball, which is what a running game usually relies on. Just that breakout run.
I think Felton does have that potential.
Really, I don't know much about him.
His high school highlight tape is ridiculous.
Really,
but like the thing is, it's hard to break open that hole in the first place. And the O-line had not done that last year.
The O-line needs to show up this year.
He still showed more than Stockton did just with like the uphill running because he is so small. It's easier to fit through those holes as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, that's my opinion. I think Nisby. I'll get to that later. I think he's good. We finally have a bruiser.
That's a first and second down like punch. No, you know, people are saying he's a first and second down back.
I see him as third and short.
Third and short. He just punched the guy in the face and get over him. Now, I would like to see him in on first down and kind of try to get chunk yardage on the ground, but I see him being more of a third down back.
Yeah, he doesn't have that elite acceleration like maybe Stockton has, but that's, I mean, if he gets moving downhill, he's trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm at 4-2. You're at
3-3.
3-3. Iowa State.
That's at home,
Yes.
and I believe.
The unspeakable game from
I've
last
heard
year.
rumors. You're right. I've heard rumors it's gonna be a night game. Obviously, it's all speculation now. I think we're gonna win that game. Now the Iowa State stock is on the rise. They are one of those teams where they're not as they're closer to being relevant than Kansas is. I give them 2 or 3 years to where they're kind of idling in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, was it Matt Rule as their coach? Yeah, he seemed to be on the up and up.
He and for those of y'all who don't remember from last year, I don't know how you could forget. Honestly, we went to Ames. It was a night game, and either it was a night game or it was a day game that turned into a night game because it was miserable.
Yeah, it was very cold and not a great environment for us.
I remember it looking up, thinking the game was over, and crying it was only halftime.
Yeah,
the score was awful.
I didn't even watch the game because
I turned it on just so I could have a relevant frame of mind for Twitter responses.
I got the updates on my phone, and I literally just every time I looked at them, I was like, "Is this backwards?"
I got in quite.
Is it flipped?
I didn't get in a spat with our worship director Dallas, but I did get in a spat with one of his Facebook friends, and I didn't hold back. And Michael Bass chimed in. I don't think Michael Bass is listening, but if you are, shout out. But yeah, I got in quite the spat because people were in the fire cliff, and I go, "Cliff's not the problem." But anyway, that's for a future podcast, and hopefully that's not for a December discussion when we're losing our coach. Cross your fingers on that one.
Hot takes.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, where were we? What game? Sorry.
Oh, we were at the Iowa State game. At home.
I think we win. Tech fans who have been following it recently within the last decade or so know us for consistently beating Iowa State. There's no question about that.
Yeah, they're just like a step above Kansas these past few years until this Matt Rule thing.
We beat them, but we don't beat them convincingly very often.
Yeah, not since last time we played them at home. I think we beat them pretty convincingly.
Right.
But other than that.
And so I think now I'll come out with my I'm gonna release a I probably won't. I'll just do it here. I don't think Iowa State is going to score a lot of points. I think the point spread of that game is going to be probably, 14. 14 to 20. I don't think we'd beat them at more than 25. I hope we do.
That'd be nice. Revenge is great too.
Right. And I hope it's cold because revenge is best served cold. But I think we beat them. I don't know about how convincingly. Obviously, we'd like to see convincing wins every week. But I don't think we beat them convincingly. I think we beat them, just not convincingly.
Yeah, and some of the reviews or some of the leading up to this, there's talked to players about it. And Broderick Washington's a defensive lineman for us. And they're like, which game are you looking forward to the most? I believe he was the one that said Iowa State. He wants to prove that defensive line is not the problem.
They should take the final score of that game and post on every tile of the locker room.
Yeah, and they should they should write it everywhere. I'm just kidding. Don't write it because that's vandalism. But that's a big game. And so Tech is ready for revenge. 66 to 10.
That hurts my soul saying that.
Yeah, it sounds like it should be the other way around.
Right,
it sounds
absolutely.
like Tech did that. At home, Tech fans will be out of their minds, full force, because no one.
Well, they'll be scared.
No one wants to be. I mean, scared brings out the nervous energy as well. For the fans that are caring that much and not just chilling.
Speaking about nervous energy, I was telling my dad this the other day is that that OU game last year, I have never had more fun in a loss in my life.
Okay, how about the TCU game 2 years back?
Yeah, I wasn't at that game. I was working. Oh, man. I remember
that was the most emotional roller coaster.
I ran from work to the Westie to watch it with one of the old interns, Hunter Cook. And after the game ended, we just sat down and didn't speak for about an hour. That OU game, yes, we all hate Baker Mayfield. Sorry, hate's a strong word. I dislike him. He's still a brother in Christ.
No, it's okay to say. Off with his head.
I have never. I shaved a double T in the back of my head. That was legit. I
You
might,
got like a big picture.
I
of
might
yourself
do
and
that
everything.
for Arizona State because that's
Yeah.
gonna be our first big game at home.
Yeah.
But
That could be a season definer as well.
I am looking forward. I love because the crowd in that game wanted to explode. They didn't know what they were about to watch, but they wanted to explode. You could just feel it. And I have never. Oh, the pregame chills to the game were just nuts.
He was like running by the crowd and like
Right.
signaling to him with his hands
I
up.
have never felt so much animosity in a stadium in my life. But anyway, let's not live in the past, and let's say Iowa State will be a win. I have them going 4-3 with that game.
All right, so what I got is Jacob Park, their quarterback, will be fairly inconsistent. I'm hoping we get good linebacker play, just mess with him the whole game. Give us that win that we need so much,
Right.
especially at this point in the season. That will get me to 5-2, Iowa State. So the
Gosh,
next,
that sounds pretty, but I don't think. Oh.
dude, this is my predictions. I can say anything, right? It doesn't.
and you can go back on it next week after we play the first game. You know.
Yeah, so every week we can lament
Right.
my predictions later in the season. So next we have at Oklahoma. What do you think about that?
I'm gonna shock the world here and say we're gonna lose. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we're gonna
Shocker.
lose. Baker Mayfield is gonna have our number. I don't think they're gonna make a college. I almost said college World Series. I don't think they're gonna make a college playoff run. But the staff down there and the players down there think that they have the capability of doing that.
Yeah, they're not the same caliber as last year.
No, absolutely not. They lost P. Ryan. I just shot my leg. It's fine.
Charlie,
my
watch
leg was-
yourself. He's that pumped about this Oklahoma game. He just punched his own leg.
They lost P. Ryan. They lost Mixon. And I'm not gonna get in the Mixon thing. That
Yeah.
He's disgusted me, but I'll say that for a future. I'll say that for the week we play it. How about that?
Yeah. We'll talk about his
Right.
red shirt season.
Yeah, garbage. But they lost Mixon, they lost P. Ryan, they lost Westbrook. For those of you who don't know, that's D.D. Westbrook, their receiver, their star receiver.
Heisman finalist.
Right. They lost a lot of firepower, which this will be a more competitive game than people think. Usually people think, oh, you know, we haven't beat them in Norman since 2011 that is. 1911. Okay.
That's not as long as you'd think.
Right. We snapped their like 40-something game home win streak that year. But again, living in the past. We'll lose, but it won't be as much as people think we're going to lose by.
That's fair. Here's one thing I want, and you might agree with me.
For Baker to tear his ACL.
I wouldn't go that far, but I'd say I want to get one really good hit on Baker
On a
Mayfield.
blind side, just a whiplash.
I just want to see one really good hit on
I feel that.
Trader Mayfield himself.
Trader.
OU will probably beat us in a
I
landslide.
hope he gets Dakota Allen too. But
Yeah.
that's just me.
I really have this as a landslide, but hashtag watch your six, because we're going to go hit that boy.
We're
gonna come after him.
Because his number is 9. Just kidding. I thought his number.
I think it's
was
number
6.
6.
Is it? I thought it
Yeah.
was number 9. Anyway, I just ruined your pun. It's fine.
It's all good.
Yeah,
He should have left.
I have.
Why is he still around?
That makes them 4-4 in my mind. I think so.
Yeah. So I have him at 5-3, and you'd have him at 4-4 after that game.
Oh gosh, and then we gotta get and then we get to the stretch of the schedule where we gotta get scrappy
So next week is Kansas State.
at home, right?
Yes, it
Okay.
is at home. Last time I think we played him at home was that DeAndre
Now-
Washington.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. We go Kansas State, Baylor, and TCU.
Yeah, we
all
got
three in a row?
Kansas State, Baylor, TCU, Texas.
This is another one where guard your ice cream because we're gonna win all 3 of those.
Okay, we're going back to back to back. I'm gonna get all
we're
yours,
gonna-
and then I'll go.
We're gonna win all 3 of those.
Okay, Kansas State, go.
Kansas State is a super conservative team, not politically, obviously, but they they have a suffocating defense. They run the ball on you to collapse in your defense, and they toss it over your head.
Yeah, Snidey Cats.
They don't run it. They don't turn the ball over. They don't make any. If they do make a mistake, it doesn't just shoot them in the foot as much as you'd like them to. But at home, I think we get them.
Right.
Against all my logical stuff that I just said, I think we get them. I think we get to 5-4 with that win, because we nearly came back on them last year. But unfortunately, we fell short. But I think
Patrick Mahomes was injured.
Right.
So
I think Nick Shimanek will do enough to beat Kansas State. And going to Baylor, we beat them as well. As y'all might remember, Baylor started 6-0 last year, got up to I don't know what they finished at, but they got up to the top 10.
6-0, then they were 6-6.
Right. They finished on a 6-game losing streak. I don't know what the ranking that they got to.
A bowl game. I don't remember what they did
right. I don't know the ranking they got to, but I know they got in the top 10.
They didn't deserve that.
Right. And then the whole scandal came out. Now, people who are thinking that this is going to be a tank year for Baylor, losing the recruits and all that, they're a year away from that. I don't think they're going to
not tanking.
If they're gonna tank, it's going to be next year. They're not tanking this year. They're going to be a middle of the pack team, but they're not tanking.
I agree.
But I think it's going to be one of those games. We don't have Mahomes obviously in his arm strength, but I think it's another one of those classic shootouts that we just edge.
Arlington every year, man.
Right. Which, by the way, we should sign a petition and say that we want that home game back. Because as much as I love going to Jerry World, I don't go there often. But when I do, I like it. I would much rather have another home game. But
it's fun to go to that stadium and maybe meet family and all that stuff that a lot of those tech students are Dallas kids. So
right, true.
That's really helpful for them. But yeah, Arlington is it's a cool place, but it's not a home game.
Right. And
what do you have happening in this game? Baylor.
In Baylor, going back, Kansas State. I think we beat them by one score. I think it's anywhere from 3 to 7.
And the win probability, that's not too bold of a statement because we have a 44% chance. It's a 2.7 spread. 2.7 point spread. It's not a lot.
And Vegas knows what they're doing because that's why they're Vegas. They make a lot of money with this stuff.
And that might change when we get close to the game. But right now, it looks pretty even.
And as far as Baylor, I think we beat Baylor by double digits. Whether that's 10 or 25, I don't know. Whether that's 9-9, that's still double digits.
What do you think causes that? Causes so many extra points?
Our defense being able to force turnovers.
Sweet. That would be great to
We need to crank up our turnover numbers. I think we finished the season last year with 13, which is
pretty bad.
Which is pretty bad. It doesn't give you much wiggle room because if your offense can't score, then you don't have much room on defense. But I think we beat them by more than 10. I wouldn't go as much as say 20, but I'll go double digits. As for TCU, that third game, again, I have this being the trifecta. This is the stretch that gets us bowl eligible.
All right, this is a major game because TCU, we beat them at their stadium last year in overtime.
They will be hungry and angry.
They're going to be ready for this game.
Remember, 2 years ago, it was the play that just cut into the heart of every Tech fan.
I do remember
I'm not going to bring it up. It's the running back that never should have been back there. That's all how it is.
I was jumping up and down and high-fiving people, and then I turn around and see the sideline going nuts.
You, that guy should have never been back there. He was the running back. And he was
Green was in the back of the end zone.
Doxson, who would...
Doxson was the reason they won that game.
Absolutely. He dominated us. He dominated us for three and a half quarters, and the one pass he misses ends up beating us.
Yeah, and he had like a 250-yard game.
Oh, it was nuts. He had almost as much receiving yardage as our quarterback had passing.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Right. And then last year, if y'all remember, it was a defensive struggle. I believe we won 13-10, or 14-17.
It was like a 27 something.
Oh, was it?
Because the overtime was what caused extra points.
But it was a defensive struggle. Everybody after that game said that the defense was on the rise, and then Iowa State, went back on that claim. But it was a defensive struggle.
That was an exciting game.
It was. I was home for my grandparents. My granddad's 60th. No, not 60th. He is way older than that. 80th, I believe. No, it was for their 50th. It was for their anniversary.
So you got to see this game?
I'm gonna stop just talking out of my butt. But it was. No, I didn't get to see it. I was in Austin. I was sneaking away from the party crowd, and I was watching it on the computer. Like every rational Tech fan does.
Yeah, like I do.
Right.
All the time.
I think we beat TCU. It's at home. Again, strange things happen in the Jones.
So, did you have Kansas State as a win?
Yes, Kansas State, Baylor, and TCU all as a win.
All 3 wins.
Yes.
And that will get us
That brings us to 7-4.
7-4.
7-4. And then I'm not going to disclose my UT picks until you make your 3. But the last thing I'll say for TCU is that it will cause some fourth quarter sweats. I will tell you that much.
Yeah, TCU is going to be competitive.
It's kind of a toss-up game to where it could either be 3 or I am not even comfortable saying a spread for that game because I feel like it's so evenly matched. But I think we're going to get the win somehow.
Yeah, the TCU, it only gives us a 32% chance and an 8.2 spread.
Which seems low, but that's fine.
I think so at home, too.
Right.
Unless we have a lot of injuries and stuff.
Right.
So here's my 3. And I'm going to get to the... Actually, I'm not going to reveal that yet. Kansas State. Kansas State. This game will hinge... Like, the victory or defeat will hinge on if we shut down wide receiver Byron Pringle.
Yep.
I think he ran, like, a few touchdowns back against us last year. Just, like, kickoff returns.
Right.
But also as a wide receiver... I was at the A&M Kansas State bowl game last year, and he torched that defense.
I didn't watch that game.
They ended up beating A&M in a bowl game, and it was really fun to
That was
have
the comeback, wasn't it?
I believe so, and they came.
The one that they tied us on. They didn't beat anything. They tied the record. There was a lot of fake news flying around that they had set the record.
I don't think that was that game.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay.
That was Oregon.
That's right. You're right.
TCU maybe.
Right.
Anyway, Kansas State. They do not. I mean, Byron Pringle. We have to shut him down. I'm predicting that we won't be able to neutralize quarterback Jesse Ertz. He has some straight line speed, and whenever that hole opens up in the middle, he's going to get 15, 20, can break for the house. So we're going to have trouble, and freaking Bill Snyder's magic. He's a necromancer.
He's a legend. I mean, I'll say right now, he's a legend. He will.
He's a coach that coaches right now and has a stadium named after him.
And is a guy who he adapts to the modern ways of football. You know, he's not the old grass. Like my way or the highway. He's like, okay, if something isn't working and the game is adapting, let's go for it.
All right, and I have Kansas State as a loss, Baylor at Arlington. We're gonna come out firing on all cylinders. Take advantage of their secondary. They just had some problems in the secondary last year when we played them.
Their depth is a problem.
I think we're going to do that again. It's going to be another barn burner, teams exchanging blows. We're basically going to get pressure on, this is my hopes, on the quarterback, Zach Smith, not the dunk legend at Tech right now.
Right.
No, but we're going to shut him down. He's going to turn the ball over. We're going to get the ball last and secure the victory. Probably with the touchdown.
Nice.
I have a win 6-4, and that will get us bowl eligible.
Woo!
All right. And so TCU, Kyle Hicks is very elusive. He's going to be trouble running around.
He always is.
Quarterback, and at quarterback Kenny Hill, he's probably still going to be inconsistent.
Probably.
I'm not gonna say he's gonna be dominant.
I would lean towards consistency, but he will have his moments of inaccuracy.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's gonna struggle in this game particularly. The Jones will be rocking like it was last time.
Oh yeah.
Especially if there's a possibility that our bowl season could be on the line at this game, but I'm saying that we already got it. But so I'm gonna say the Jones is rocking. TCU does not have Josh Doxson or Aaron Green anymore for that ridiculous play.
Thank goodness.
The nightmare at the Jones will be replaced in our minds with a victory.
Boy, that'd be.
This is rainbows and butterflies right now. This is like the greatest thought I had about this, and that would give a win, 7-4 coming to Texas.
Just saying, I'm telling you, just saying that name annoys me. Texas is the little entitled stepchild of the Big 12. Not really stepchild. They are the oldest child of the Big 12, but they're still entitled.
They're bullies.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh.
Okay, we're both at 7-4, and we're coming at Texas. I heard that noise. I know what that means.
Cliff has his job still.
Okay.
At 7-4. Which makes you think he's going to be swinging for the fences to knock off Texas because there's nothing to lose.
He did it last time.
Right. The whole little people big world that Jakeem ran around the outside and that nearly immaculate reception. I mean, it was a completion,
ridiculous.
But it was
two SC top 10 plays from Jakeem Grant.
The defender came up. I think it was Lauderdale.
Came in like a truck.
Grant's arms.
Yeah.
By the way,
right place, right time.
I don't think Jakeem Grant is listening to this, but if you are, shout out. You have some wheels on you, son. Oh my gosh, I saw that play against. I think there was the Bears preseason.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys spun like a top, and he took off like on a 40.
If you don't hit him right, he doesn't go down. He keeps going.
You're
not going to catch him.
That dude can pull some ground.
All right, let's get down to business. At Texas, what's going to happen in this game?
Well, rumor has it, I don't know who will be anchoring this, but rumor has it is that they have a familiar 18-wheeler package. Swoops was their 18-wheeler package. Obviously, his number was 18.
Call him flat tire.
Right, but they brought him in for the third and fourth and short.
No, he was good at running, and that was about it.
Just bulldoze the line, and then Shane Buechele, he was a freshman last year. He'll be a sophomore this year. That dude has an arm.
He's the classic Texas kid, number 7.
Right, absolutely. That dude can throw with some accuracy. I'll tell you what. Their season last year did not reflect his talent, because I think he is talent out the wazoo, which is painful to think about. But that's fine. But I think, gosh, it'd be really nice to knock him off twice in a row in Austin. It would be so nice.
Because we didn't do that since '94.
Right.
And then we did it again last time we were in Austin. I was at that game. And
I was also on TV, and I have a screen. I have a shot of the scoreboard, the final scoreboard, and I still have it saved on my phone. But
man, it was beautiful because like the band was like right next to where I was sitting.
Right.
It was just the Tech fans, our one little section, and man, we came out in full force.
Now, I think we lose this game. I think we lose this game.
I thought that's what you were thinking.
Tom Herman, as overhyped as I think he's going to be, I think he's going to get the job done against us. Granted, we'll know much more about what his team is like by that point, because it's last week of the season.
Well, keep in mind, this is the 11th straight game we'll have.
Very good point.
There's a lot happening there
considering
mentally.
that, it puts my 3-game win streak in jeopardy, but I'm still going to stick with those picks.
That's fair.
But Tom Herman, he didn't get this job for nothing. He knows what he's doing. I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's going to get Texas back into a national spotlight by any means. I see him going 8-4. Obviously we don't have enough time, so I just don't care enough to break down their schedule. But I see Texas going 8-4. That's not. I haven't picked apart the schedule or analyzed the teams. That's just my hunch. They're not getting to 10 wins, but they're not going to be hovering at 6-6 either.
No, nobody's going to be screaming Texas is back this year.
Oh, yeah. Freaking.
That game gives us a 19% win probability, and I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm going to also give us a Texas loss. I mean, for the reasoning might be a little bit different. I said Texas is playing for a bowl game because they have a 5-6 record at this point.
Really?
This is what I'm saying, and they're playing everything on the line. Tech just does not have the defense needed to stop Chris Warren III or Kyle Porter. Those are two big, strong
Warren is a tank.
running backs.
Warren
threw Braden Fajoko off his back and then went 97 yards or something
against
ridiculous.
The game, it wasn't so much the last year's game, because last year's game they leaned on Foreman a lot, which Foreman's a beast. Foreman's down the
just
NFL.
Dragged people.
Yeah, Foreman is with the who again?
Texans.
That's right. I thought it was the Titans, but I was wrong.
Yeah, I'm excited for that because he's looking good.
He's a big guy. Now Warren killed us 2 years ago. I swear he is like a linebacker that converted to a running back. You can't bring him down with one guy. I swear. And
you have to knock him off balance, and if you can't get him off balance, he's just going to truck.
2 years ago, our secondary didn't have much size, so we were like pinball.
That's true. We were just shoulder diving in at that guy. So I have him at a loss because they basically just run over us in that game.
I'm surprised you have a 5-6 going into that game.
And then I said they still finish at a 500 for the season, which just kind of helps me like feel a little better about myself. Just if they end up there, like Texas, you're still not on the up and up.
If we beat them to knock them out of bowl contention and go 8-4.
Oh,
dude, my world would explode as we know it. Like my everything that I know and love.
Literally gonna be dancing around like an idiot. Anyway, that's what I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want your overall results. So we're both at
7-5.
7-5 going into a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think will happen, and what does these results mean?
Oh gosh. Well, let's clear the air right now and say Cliff will stay. I think Cliff will stay at 6-6. Now, if we do go 6-6, I think he needs a bowl win to have job security. If he goes 7-5, I don't think it matters what he does in the bowl. Now, granted, if he goes 6, there are contingencies that lined up with that because if we go 6-6, it depends on what bowl we're playing and where we're playing and on who we're playing. Like if we're playing a Florida team in Florida, like for some reason it happens a lot, then I can understand him losing a practical away game. But
So Cliff secured his job.
Cliff,
He's
at
fine.
7-5, Cliff. I don't know if he gets an extension,
No, I don't think so either.
but he gets a year.
Okay, so you have 7-5, and what's the result of this bowl in your opinion? Just completely arbitrarily, win or lose a bowl.
I think we kick Alabama's butt in a bowl. No kidding. We'd be in the national championship.
That takes a lot.
Honestly,
No.
now, you might have to pinch me because I might be dreaming here. But I think that along with us floating around the average team hierarchy of the league, I think A&M is also. And I think
They've bailed out last time.
I know that, and it kind of pissed me off. I think we have. I don't think they'd accept it again, but I think we're on a trajectory to possibly play A&M, which would be sweet because I think we beat them. Now, that kind of hurt me there because my gut says we'll lose a bowl game, but I think we'd beat A&M if we got them. And if we're 8-5, if we're 7-5 with the bowl win, so 8-5.
Yeah, that would get us to 8-5.
I think it would probably only buy Cliff another year, but it would give him a lot of confidence going into next.
Yeah, so I have them winning that bowl and finishing 8-5. I have the city of Lubbock being just a happier general city because of it. And,
just the sun looks brighter in the morning, and your coffee tastes better, and the pastries at Starbucks are a little bit sweeter.
So all the above, everyone just a better place to live in Lubbock this coming year. So that's what I predict, 8-5 overall.
Now, let me ask something. If we go 6-6 and we lose the bowl, do you think Cliff stays?
Yes, because we got to a bowl, and because the thought of not getting to a bowl is stressful. But if you get to a bowl, that's enough.
Now, part of me says that Kirby Hocutt, our athletic director, wants more than just a bowl. But the reality of it is that where we are right now, finishing last year at 5-7, just a bowl is an improvement. So I agree with you. I think he keeps it. I think it'd be in doubt, but I think he keeps it.
I think the contract is still
too
enough
large.
To where, yeah,
our Bruises have pretty deep pockets, but it's nothing like UT's pockets.
Yeah, we can't just throw $9 mil at somebody.
But let's so we both have them going 8-5 with the bowl win, which sounds like music to my ears. But I don't know how much I believe myself.
So you want to hear something scary real quick? Okay, every other year Cliff has had a winning season, and that's why I'm predicting
No way.
a winning season. Right? 2013 8-5, 2014 4-8, 2015 7-6.
Wow.
2016 5-7, 2017 8-5.
I have
bowl win.
never even checked the dots on that one.
He's going up season, down season, up season, down season, up season. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm thinking.
Gosh, that'd be sweet. I'm telling you what, I'd be a happy camper. And if the Cowboys get back in the playoffs at 10-6, then you know what, I got football to watch into January. But
I just want to have a bowl, man.
Right.
If we got the Texas Bowl for like we've gotten that a lot, but that was like a
not against LSU.
That's not fair.
Granted,
That's just not
will
fair.
be there. That was obnoxious.
Because they had a game canceled and it knocked them down, and it was a bad matchup. Right. Anyway,
so
I just hope we don't go back to that bowl. But it also is like $1.7 million for your school, or $1.8 million.
Right.
That's a pretty good sum.
That is. So let's transition to talk about what's going to be happening by depending on how you count days. I count it as Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So 3 days till game day. Okay. What do you want to see on Saturday?
What do I want to see this Saturday?
What do you want to see as an improvement or a goal for the team on Saturday?
Okay.
Give me like 3 things.
I definitely want to see quarterback play with confidence.
Okay.
None of those check down 1-2 yard routes. Like, I want to see him throwing those 5, 7, 10, maybe even 15 yard routes with confidence. I want to see the defense show something. And I'm talking not only
Amen.
from a skill position, but a schematics position.
Ooh,
'Cause I don't want them
I
to-
like that word.
I don't want them just to sit back and like wait for things to come to
Right.
them. I do think the whole turnover thing is like a good situation, but it didn't work last year. And so we're going to have to bring the fight to them on defense if we want to make those turnovers happen.
Right.
And so I do want to see a more aggressive scheme even from the first game.
Mm-hmm.
And then third might be pretty obvious. I want to win pretty big.
Wow, who would have thunk that? Okay.
So that's my three main ones. What about you?
Well, I have a little more than three because obviously I've been premeditating this question.
All right, go fire it.
I want to see over under point or half a turnover for the offense. So either 0 or 1. Shimanek in his first game starting as the starter, not just replacing Mahomes, but Shimanek's first game as the legit starter. Might have some rust. Throw a pick, no big deal. It's Eastern Washington. We should be able to overcome that. I want to see 3 turnovers by our defense.
Okay.
In the first game.
3 total turnovers with
yes.
fumbles with.
Yeah.
What about like stopping 4th downs?
I don't think you're going to see much of that. I
Yeah,
really don't.
the team's not gonna go for that.
Probably I want to see our linebackers Jordan Brooks and Dakota Allen get some ball hawking going on.
Especially Brooks is a guy that has so much potential. If he stays healthy, keeps his whatever concussions or whatever it is out of the picture, then we're golden with him.
So I want to see 3 turnovers at least. That sounds like a high bargain, but you know what? You can wish all you want. I don't know what else to say. But another thing, I want to have more than 150 yards rushing and hold them to less than that. I think we can. I don't know if we can stop them, but I think we can get that much. I want to see somebody who is not a free safety lead the team in tackles, meaning I don't want our only tackles coming off deep balls that they complete. I want to see Dakota Allen and our linebackers getting some sacks and our,
so pumped he's back, by the way.
I can't wait to see him on the field.
That beautiful hair as well, just flowing and tackling people.
Absolutely,
that's what's up.
He's got some viciousness to him. I'll tell you what. But I want to see somebody that is not in our secondary lead the team in tackles.
That would be so nice.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I want to see none to few blown assignments. First game of the season, I know you're going to have some. Whether they cost you in a big play or not, who knows? But a lot of times, now granted, I'm going to point out an example from OU. OU just has superb talent on the receiver, so I don't really blame them for that because they're fast. But I want to see. I don't want to see our guy thinking it's going to be a hook route and it's a fly route. Like I don't want to see any of that, any of the bonehead mistakes. I don't want any of that. And I mean, obviously, it'll be obvious because you'll see a guy running wide open down the field. And trenches.
I think false starts are going to be huge, especially with our O-line just coming together as a unit.
Our O-line,
get those false starts out of there.
Like I said, if we don't have a decent O-line by Houston, we'll know because Ed Oliver would chew us up.
They'll start to expose us if that's the case. Not to say that isn't something we can overcome. Like last year, I'd say we did quite a bit of overcoming, even with
Mahomes did it most himself.
Yeah, for sure. We might have to design the offense around a weak O line as well.
Right. They got to step up because if our O line is not improved, my predictions are riding on an improved O line. If our O line is the same O line as last year with Shimanek behind him, we're going 5-7. I'm calling it right now. Shimanek cannot handle the O line we had last year. He played against Kansas. Kansas is the last team in the polls of Big 12. Kansas is not a good benchmark.
You want to throw it out, but at the same time, it's like all you have to go on.
Right,
so you're
exactly.
hoping that's going to translate.
And he played good against Kansas, but again, it's Kansas.
It was garbage time for most of it.
Absolutely,
too. And one touchdown, then it was good.
He played really well, but you can't. It's kind of like. It's kind of like the first game of the week. You can't take anything positive out of a FCS team.
Yeah, the first game.
If you take anything out of this week's game, it's going to be a negative. Why I'm saying to all fans who are listening to this, do not jump to a conclusion and get down because because you have the FCS reputation in your head, that the fact that we should dominate them and whatnot. I'm telling you, these guys are good. They're no slouch. You can't overlook them.
Sam Houston was good last year too.
Right, absolutely.
We still beat them pretty good, but
right,
they were a good team.
So if you're coming home Saturday night, or you're waking up Sunday morning and you're looking over the stuff of the game, or if you care that much to do that, I'm going to be doing that. And you see, and you get a little down, just know that the first game is not a good benchmark. And I don't even know if Arizona State's a good benchmark, because Arizona State, in my opinion, is a lesser team than Eastern Washington.
Yeah, those first games are often like spring games.
Right,
You're like, well, what do I pull from this? Because
if there's
you're expected to do fine.
Right. If there's ever a game that you want to take something away, wait till Houston.
Houston is a game where we'll know a lot about this team.
Because I think, yes, obviously, Arizona State is a game a lot of people have circled on their calendar, but don't jump the gun on your criticism of our team. Because nobody's perfect in week 1, unless Alabama. By the way,
they're a robot.
I can't wait for that game. FSU Alabama, 8 p.m. Saturday. You coming over for that game? Dude, that game's going to be off the hook. It's going to have national championship feel to it. 1 against 3. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that game.
Zach could bring some chips or something.
Right. Order pizza or something. But
sweet.
Other than that, I'm excited for Saturday. I got a full work day tomorrow. Class and work Friday. But other than that, shameless plug, the Wesley over at 2420 15th Street, behind the Valero, across from the university. They're having a tailgate starting at 12:30. I will be the humble cook alongside my roommate Cody.
I need to get a bite of that.
And
good stuff.
Right. And so that starts at 12:30. If you're listening to this, bring your friends. I assume anybody listening to this probably already knows it's happening. But just in case somebody's new listening and you live in Lubbock, come by the Wesley 12:30. We'll leave for the game about probably 1:30, 1:45 maybe. And
shouldn't be too big of lines, because
right.
The general perspective right now, the general perception, I should say, of like the team right now is that they're not going to be a very good team.
Right.
And that's going to put a chip on their shoulder. In West Texas, people love having a chip on their shoulder.
Absolutely.
So I want to take it to a breakout player session. So breakout players, defense, offense, special teams, whatever you want to do. Tell me who's going to be the breakout player.
Well, coming from left field, our punter.
Are you talking about the new one?
Yes, the rugby. I don't know his name. I haven't.
Dominic Penizzolo.
There you go. I probably couldn't pronounce it if I didn't know it. But he is a rugby style punter. So for those of y'all who are not listening to this, if we assuming we punt Saturday at some point, if you see him running the ball, don't freak out. Think we're faking it. He's
a rugby style punter.
Yeah, he kicks in a weird way. The normal style of punting is straightforward. Legs straight in the air, all that stuff, and it gives you an over. For those of y'all watching on Facebook, it gives you a end over end kick. So it can either bounce way that way and give you a good roll, or it can bounce backwards and you just stop it as soon as you can.
So the cool thing about Dominic Penizzolo is he's actually from Australia.
Yes.
And there's a sport over there called Australian football. I don't know how much you know about it, but there's a lot of random kicking of the ball to get good field position.
Really?
And he grew up playing Australian football. And when he came to the U.S. after he went to a punting school, Australia actually is famous for their kickers, the rugby-style kicks, because a lot of people grow up knowing how to throw, knowing how to kick these Australian footballs, which are kind of like, I think they're smaller than regular footballs, but he grew up with that. And so you're used to spot kicking.
Right.
So what I think is going to excel at, especially, is those when we're on the 50-yard line or on our own 40 and have to kick it and try to down it kind of inside the 10. He's the guy for that.
Right.
Because he's like, oh yeah, I'm used to kicking and trying to get it within like a bucket or something like that.
Right.
Basically stuff he's done his whole
The videos
his whole
he's
life.
put on Instagram and Twitter are nuts.
Yeah, he has one where he kicks a ball and then shoots it with a shotgun.
Right.
And says like wreck him.
But
I was like, he's already accepted as one of us.
right.
He just did that.
And for those of y'all who are wondering why a rugby style kick is different and why we're so excited and why I chose a puncher as our breakout star, I'll explain. Because when you kick it rugby style, it has a weird little side spin on it to where you have a better chance of getting kind of a straighter roll to where it's not 50-50 like it'd be if you go into a rend. You have a higher percentage that it gets that it gives you a friendly bounce and you can flip field position easier that way.
Sweet. Yeah, that's one of my breakout players
Absolutely.
as well. For special teams, I have him and Kiki Cutie.
Yes,
on returning punts.
He's gonna be a rocket.
I think that Batson has one, either kicks or returns, and Kiki has the other. But the man, he's got speed and moves. And if one guy hits him, that doesn't mean he goes down. With Batson, I felt like there was a lot of times there's like one person touches him, he's done.
Right.
He wouldn't get much of a return. So I'm very excited for Kiki with the top end elite speed
Right.
as well.
Now for defense breakout players.
All right. I got like a whole list, so I don't even know what to choose.
I have 4 off the top of my head.
Okay.
Deshaun Johnson.
Yeah, I didn't even-
Sorry, I might have put a D in there. It's not Deshaun, it's Jay-Sean Johnson.
Deshaun Johnson. I loved his on the mic series
Yes,
video.
I agree.
That was hilarious.
So him, Dakota Allen, Jordan Brooks, and Octavius Morgan.
Tech Athletics.
That is, I believe, if I had known my positions in my head right, it's our 2 safeties and our linebackers.
Sam All again?
Or no, I think it might be our corners. Octavius Morgan.
He's a corner.
Corner, that's right. That's what I thought. Octavius Morgan, Dakota Allen, Jason Johnson, and Jordan Brooks.
Yeah, I think Jordan Brooks is middle linebacker.
Right.
Allen's on one of the outside, and then we got corner Octavius Morgan, and I have Douglas Coleman as another one. He has a propensity for the big plays.
Now, for those of y'all who don't recognize that name, you will when I say this. He was the guy who, when Deontay Foreman,
big guy,
was chugging his way down to our goal line and almost scored.
It was like a third and like 20 something.
It was third and 25, and he got to the goal line.
And he made a first down, and then kept going, dragging people all the way through. What happened?
And Douglas Coleman pulled the ball out right for. I think they could, if they reviewed it, that he might have been a touchdown. But anyway,
I don't understand how you can return it 100 yards.
Right.
Maybe 99.9
So
yards.
he rips it out and he takes off. And Bouchel, who's running.
He was the only one that had a chance.
Right, and he's running to the left side. I think it's a touchdown. Bouchel sees Coleman sprint off with the ball, and Bouchel's like, "What's going on here?" And
it kind of goes for him. Kind of didn't have the reaction time really to get him.
Props to Deontay Foreman, because Deontay Foreman got up, saw that Coleman had the ball running, and he almost caught him at the end zone. He had to dive into the end zone to beat Foreman.
So I think Douglas Coleman is good for a few of those plays.
Yes, I
also,
agree.
if you remember TCU, he had an interception in the end zone that I believe won us that game.
Yes, I agree.
So he has this big playability, and you might not notice him most of the time, but when he does, he makes a good play. He was a wide receiver / defensive back out of Zachary, Louisiana, and Louisiana is pretty under recruited for the 3-star guys.
Now I got a question for you. So last season we forced 13 turnovers.
Yeah.
If I gave you an over/under 18.5, would you take the over/under?
I'll take the over.
Really?
And
I'm inclined to do that also.
I was going to say 20. So
really? Okay.
I'll take the over on that.
Okay.
I just think that we're not going to get worse at that, because
if we force 20, we go 6-6 at least.
Cool. I agree. I think that we'll go 7-5 with that 20 turnovers.
It's funny how like 7-5 and 8-4 are only 1 game difference, but in terms of the morale and the stance,
feels different.
It feels so different.
Like
just
5 and 7
game.
feels different than 4 and 8.
Right. Exactly.
It was like so close. Yeah. So I definitely have Douglas Coleman on there. He kind of was a breakout player. Another one, Broderick Washington. I watched the spring.
I heard his name been thrown around a lot, but I don't know a whole lot about him.
He's a D lineman, just a big body in the middle. I watched him in the spring game, bull rush, and I believe it was our center. So Paul Staywars knocked him onto our quarterback.
Really?
Just like drove him back there. He only had a few drives where they did in the spring game, but every time he came in there, he was collapsing the pocket. And so Broderick Washington, he's a guy with fire. He is ready for this season, and he wants to prove that Tech does have a defense.
Right. Now, what are your thoughts on Duffy, our quarterback?
Yeah, that's one of my hot takes, actually. I say that Duffy, by week 3, after the Houston game...
What's his first name again?
Jet Duffy.
Jet Duffy, that's right.
Double T in that name. It's pretty cool. Jet Duffy. By week 3, he's going to be officially our backup. I'm
that's
saying that
quick.
he goes from almost nothing to officially our backup.
That is quick.
And the reason I say that is
Now,
because
is that the third game or is that the third week?
third game is
Third game, okay.
by Houston, or by the end of that Houston week,
Okay.
he'll be named our backup, and that is totally out of left field pulling that in. But I think he
Yeah.
has an entire year of training under Kingsbury, which none of the other quarterbacks do.
And he got into some trouble, which is why he couldn't be with the team right
Yes,
away, right?
there was some sexual abuse allegations
There was, okay.
last summer.
I wasn't sure if it was battery or sexual abuse.
Last
okay.
summer, and there was a whole thing with, was the girl consenting? Was
Right.
she too drunk? Was like kind of that whole thing. And essentially, probably shouldn't talk too much in detail. I don't know enough about it either.
Right, neither do I.
And he was reinstated after I think charges were dropped, maybe.
Probably money.
What? So yeah, it helps if you're an athlete. No, I'm just
Right.
kidding.
I mean, it does. And
That probably shouldn't make it on the podcast either, but we might anyway.
Well, it's I'm gonna kind of go a little
Savage.
candid here and say that, there's a saying not a saying. It's something that's thrown out a lot, that in sports, if your talent outweighs your cons, then you can play. Now, whether you agree with that morally or not, it's the way sports is.
So yeah, I have him passing up McLean Carty for sure
Right.
by that time. And I say that just because he's gotten more time with Cliff.
Mm-hmm.
He's been through the whole year of the system. And despite the whole suspension from the program, he was probably working on some stuff on his own
Right.
that the coach had probably assigned him,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know if that's legal. But
Right.
he was probably working with people, honing his skills. And I believe he is honestly maybe the most talented quarterback on our team.
I would go towards that as well. Yes.
Another thing that's cool, Kiki Cutie, he was
That dude can
Lufkin's
fly.
Player of the Year 2 years in high school, and Jet Duffy was like I think it was 5A Player of the Year, like his senior year of high school too. And it took Kiki till his second year in the program to really have that breakout season. And I
Wow.
think the same thing is possible with Jet Duffy in the backup role.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we won't know till the next year if he stays, if he leaves.
Yeah.
Because that will hinge on his playing time, probably, or his role in the system.
Right. Now, so I know this is not tech related, but I just want to get your take as to where we are 3 days away from. We're actually a day away from the kickoff of the season because the marquee games start
Yeah.
tomorrow, but the full slate of games doesn't start till Saturday, obviously. What is your prediction for who gets into the college football playoff?
I need to look at the list of the top teams. For me, it's Alabama and then a slew of whoever else makes it. Yeah, I don't have like even a clue of which teams would get in because
Really?
you even look at the playoffs and it was like 5 weeks out or 6 weeks out or whatever. A&M was in the top 4
Garbage.
and like put in that top 4, and
Right.
I don't even think they finished top 25.
Right.
Like,
See, for me,
It's so hard to predict that,
USC, I think is going to win it all this year.
dude. Yes, UCLA is a good quarterback,
Sam
too.
Darnold is the best quarterback in the country. No debate about it. I don't care, JT Barrett. Yeah, who cares?
I'll need to
Sam
see him
Darnold
this
is the
season.
best.
But last year he had a phenomenal
he
season.
made a throw in the Rose Bowl. He put it over a linebacker in front of a safety. He had about a foot window to fit that ball in, and he did. Now, granted, I don't think he's going to win the Heisman. I don't think. Dang. It's not going to be Lamar Jackson again because we haven't had one of those in a while. I want to say he's going to win, but there's never been a guy who started being the front runner, finished the season as the winner.
Yeah,
But I think my top 4 would probably be Ohio State, Alabama, USC, and the fourth one would probably be, FSU. I think FSU loses Alabama because Alabama is right now a 7-point favorite. I think FSU loses to Alabama but runs the tables and makes it back into the playoffs.
So do you have a top 4?
I do. It's USC, FSU, Alabama, and Ohio State. I think. Sorry, let me order those. I think it's going to be Alabama, USC, Ohio State, and FSU.
I could definitely see Ohio State in there as well.
Now, I think that means that FSU is going to be playing Ohio State. I think Ohio State wins that. Alabama is going to be playing USC. I think USC wins that. So it'll be. I have Ohio State playing USC for the championship, and then USC beating them. So I have USC taking it all this year.
Cool. That would be awesome. And if they do take it all, or they are in a place to take it all, I believe that definitely increases your chance of Darnold getting the Heisman as well.
And UT remains the sewer dweller in my mind. But, I'm not biased at all.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so two developments. I don't know if we've talked about this already, but Devonta Hinton is no longer on the team.
Yes.
He was a linebacker for Tech.
Yeah.
And so he's gone.
He was
probably academic.
He was struggling with injuries last year. When he's healthy, he's one of our best tacklers.
Yeah, he's fairly small, but he's strong.
But he has suffered. He has had some injury problems.
We don't need to talk about him. He's gone now. So.
We assume it's academic, but I think what they released was undisclosed issues. So I'm not sure what it is.
Anything,
it could
really.
be academic. It could be family. We never know. But he is a key. He's not on our team anymore, sadly. But he was a key contributor that who will be missed. There we go.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And DeLeon Ward is just working his way back up.
He's just on academic. I don't know if it's probation, but he's on academic watch list.
Okay, so defense. I'm just gonna bring this up. Okay, what does the defense need to do to allow this team to succeed? And just to tell you, last year we allowed opponents 43.5 points a game, just as a general indication.
I have 3 points.
Okay.
Turnovers. That's not 3 points.
All three.
We have to force turnovers. We have a sign. There's actually a sign in the locker room heading out to the field saying, "Win the turnover battle."
Yeah.
Now it's funny how it doesn't say win the game, but it says win the turnover battle.
That often really shows. Yeah.
And I think I said 18.5. You said over. I say over also. I would like for us to top. We had 13 last year. I would like for us to push 23, get over 20, push mid-20s.
Sounds good to me. I'll take it.
And I think, sure tackling. We can't arm tackle.
We can't be hitting people with our shoulder and hoping they fall down.
Because these are grown men and people don't just go down like pinballs. If you think just a hit is going to go down, the only thing going to go down is you.
Yeah.
But you got to wrap up. You got to have some sure tackles because if I see that same missed tackle garbage I do against Eastern Washington, I'm going to bury my head in my hat.
Okay, so to get to a bowl from 43.5 on average, how many points per game do we have to keep the other team to on average?
From where again?
From 43.5.
That's pretty awful.
Which is 128 out of 128, I believe.
To get a bowl.
Yeah, just those 6 wins.
I think the sweet spot is 30 to 35.
Okay, 35. My thing is I say less than 38 points a game, given up by the defense and the special teams as well.
That's because if you give up 38, I think Shimonek's gonna have a hard time beating that. Honestly,
to get 6 wins,
to beat 38 a game.
Yeah. So I'm saying if we hold them less than 38, then we'll get to a bowl game. And I do think we do that.
We're 128 and 128 right now, which for those of y'all who don't know, that's how we rank defensively in the entire FBS. So there's 128 teams.
Dead last.
Which is pretty pathetic. But would it kill us to be top 100? Would it kill us to be top 100? What would it take? All we have to do is
possible.
All we have to do, anything is possible. But all we have to do is beat out 27 other teams.
Yeah.
If we crack the top 100, I might even see us going 8-4.
And our talent recruiting on the defensive side is much higher than 120, even 100th of those teams.
If we go 8-4, we get a better bowl. We maybe win that bowl. We finish 9-4. That sounds like dreaming to me. But if we can crack the top 100, I can see it happening.
Okay, what do you want to see special teams?
Hatfield not missing a crucial PAT against Oklahoma State again.
I can text him. I have his number if you want.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We had a Spanish class together. No, he made the longer, harder ones, but I think just that chip, the hard angle was harder for him.
Could you say that in that class you're just kicking it?
Yeah, we were just kicking it.
So I had to do that. Hatfield is one of those players where everybody from last year had that salty taste in their mouth. Bitter, I guess would be the better way to say it. Has a bitter taste in their mouth from that OSU game. We should have gone in overtime. Mahomes brought us all the way back. All we had to do was make an extra point. He missed it. But reality of it is, Hatfield is one of the most accurate kickers in the country.
He's very accurate.
Absolutely.
I think it gets into his head more than the skill.
I think his field goal percentage was 92.8.
Yeah,
if I
he
recall
barely
right.
missed any. He was like
Right.
preseason for the kicker award,
Now,
Blue Guards or whatever it was.
Granted, that's one of the things where if his kicking does well, you don't hear about him at all. If they do bad, everybody rips on him. It's all or nothing kind of thing. But I think that Hatfield needs to redeem himself. Well, granted, he's had the stats to not have to redeem himself. But if you are the sole reason that we blow a game because if we would have made that kick, great, we could have lost in overtime. But imagine if we win that game and we're 6-6, the narrative is with Cliff and the team is totally different.
I think what might help this year is Dominic Panazzolo handles punts.
Yes,
We have Michael Barton
No question about it.
handling kickoffs. Hopefully, just touchback every time. That's what I
Right.
want because I don't like that heartbeat whenever that guy turns a corner. So touchback every time, and then all Clayton Hatfield has to do is extra points and field goals.
Yes.
Just stick to that.
And
Don't worry about training for anything else. Just hone in those skills and rock it, man.
I haven't seen his percentage in terms of broken down by yardage, but Hatfield is pretty
He's solid.
He's pretty good within 50.
Even all the way to
If
50.
you push 50, he gets a little sketchy. I mean, granted, if you push 50 with any
Everybody
kicker,
does.
it gets sketchy. But he's solid. He's one of the most what's the word I'm looking for? He's one of the most undeservedly ripped guys on the.
Yeah, he's underappreciated for sure.
Absolutely.
So special teams. Here's what I want to see. I want to see a kickoff return for a punt or a punt return for a touchdown this year. We didn't have one last year.
We didn't at all.
Not at all.
Holy crap!
And so, we had like 3 with Jakeem Grant 2 years ago, and
Right,
then
he
none
spoiled
last
us.
year, which is ridiculous. I want to see a kickoff return for a touchdown. Go for it, Kiki
Right.
Cutie. Come on. Okay.
That dude's got some wheels. He can do it.
He does. We just have to set it properly.
Right.
I want to see Panazzolo spot kick, put some balls inside the 10 on punts from the 50.
Yeah.
Like the 50-yard line, somewhere near there. I want to see him put that ball inside the 10. And I want to see us pull a trick play, pick up a first down, and just a big moment in a game.
Let's go. Yes.
Like, that is one of the most exciting special teams plays.
The old flip flicker or something like
fake
that.
punt. And Dominic Panazzolo has ridiculous speed.
Does he really?
He's like 6'5", 220. So,
Wow.
So he has long legs. He has ridiculous speed. He can kick the ball and he can throw the ball because all 3 are Australian
I can't
football.
wait to see him punt. I hate to say that because I don't want us to be punting, but I can't wait to see him punt.
Yeah, he has a very awkward looking delivery because he has
Yeah.
that giant leg.
For sure.
But yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch. He's just a animated character as well, so that'll be fun. So that's what I want to see for special teams. Okay, now I think it's time for hot takes, and just whatever you got.
Oh gosh.
And I have some, and I'll just rail them off and have your reaction.
You can go first, and then I'll go. That's fine.
Okay.
That works for me.
If it's 3rd and short, and we put Justin Stockton in the game instead of Desmond Nisby,
I would lose my gasket.
I'm gonna flip out.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, and that's like, I guess it's a hot take because Stockton's won.
Because you know you're going between the tackles.
And if we do not make it on 2nd short, 3rd and short by trying to run Stockton instead of Nisby, I'm just gonna lose it. I'm gonna be in the stands going, "Oh my gosh, why are we not putting in the big guy?"
And if we pass, and have a 3 and out that takes about 15 seconds off the clock, I'm gonna lose it also. But yeah, I'll let you continue with your hot takes whenever you're ready.
Okay, so yeah, just for comparison, Justin Stockton 5'10", 192. Desmond Nisby 6'1", 235. 235 to 192 is a big difference in weight.
You don't say. It's like me.
It's like Texas-sized running back, man. He's not a little speed back.
Right.
So definitely that. Our defense will reach my goal of allowing less than 38 points a game. And that's a hot take because
I don't know
that's
about
getting us
that.
down. That's getting us down. I think 8 points or 8.5 points.
That's pretty bold. Not gonna lie.
That's a pretty bold statement. I'm saying finally, David Gibbs' 3rd year, continuity, depth all over is deeper than it's been.
Did you know we haven't had a DC with this much tenure since Ruffin McNeil? Ruffin McNeil coached 2.5
Really?
years. I don't remember if he was hired late, if he was fired early, or if he left early. I don't think he was fired. But Ruffin McNeil only coached 2.5 years. Assuming Gibbs finishes this year, this will be our first 3-year DC in a decade.
And the thing that struggled so much with our defense last year was the secondary and long passing situations.
Absolutely.
And we would just give up these 3rd and 9, 3rd and 12, and give up the first down with our secondary. But now we've brought in Octavius Morgan. We brought in Jalen Lane, who is a ESPN 300 player until he did something illegal and got himself in trouble.
No big deal.
But he came back, and he proved himself. And so he's back, and he's with Tech. And then we have Vontae Hitman Dorsey. He's a freshman, and he
can't wait
is
to see him play.
Moving his way up the ranks.
Yep,
He's fighting for
absolutely.
it. And I believe that he is going to make some giant hits.
Absolutely.
Hopefully force a few turnovers.
Now,
so those 3 are going to change our secondary.
For people who always gripe about the defense, yes, we're Tech. We know we suck at defense. But I just brought up the fact that we haven't had a 3-year DC since Ruffin McNeil. And he wasn't even 3 years. He was 2.5.
People are calling out his name to this day, hoping we get him back. No, it's not going to happen.
You know, you can say we don't have the players or we don't have the good coaching, but if you had 7 DCs in 8 years, with that much of lack of consistency, how do you expect to have any sort of production on defense? I mean, it's just
hard, but
like I get that we have to improve at some point, but consistency only breeds more inconsistency. Talk right, please. Inconsistency only breeds more inconsistency.
Yeah, once errors start happening, once problems start happening, they just build,
Absolutely.
and it kind of has this snowball effect. But I think with the addition of that secondary, with Dakota Allen back at the linebacker,
I can't wait to see him.
and with Houston Miller and Lonzel Gilmore emerging as stars.
Would it be great if East Washington gets the ball first and Dakota Allen gets the pick 6 first play?
Dude, he has the ability to pick and jump up high. So defensive line, Houston Miller was a 4-star recruit. And they put on some bulk, and they're going to either play him at a defensive end position or a defensive line position. They're not really sure exactly. Lonzel Gilmore has giant wingspan. He's put on a bunch of weight since he got here. Now he's like 265, and he can bat down a bunch of balls.
Mm-hmm.
And just disrupting the pass every now and then will be a huge difference because we need a guy with those big arms that's not afraid to get him up in the air, And so I think all of those will get our defense having less points scored against us. I've already told you that Jet Duffy will be our backup by week 3, so super bold prediction. Here's another one. Here's my last one that I got right now. Okay. Nick Shimanek will be in an NFL minicamp after this season, come this time next year.
Wow.
Now, this doesn't mean for sure that he gets drafted in a round, but it does mean he'll be in a camp, getting reps, getting training. We'll see if he makes the team.
I wonder if he gets time before Colin Kaepernick. Ayo.
And so what I say is that he's gonna exceed 45 touchdowns this season.
He's gonna have a B.J. Simmons kind of year.
You're feeling that too? He's gonna pass for over 4,800 yards.
Him and B.J. both came as their Tech legends. Granted, I would hesitate to call Mahomes a legend quite yet.
Yeah.
But B.J. Simmons came after Kingsbury. Shimanek is obviously coming after Mahomes. Each of those successors threw for over 5,000 yards.
Okay, let's keep this in mind. Cliff has the Midas touch of quarterbacks.
Absolutely, he's a guru.
So
absolutely.
I can trace this back. Case Keenum at Houston, Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M. We have Davis Webb and Baker Mayfield, his first year at Tech.
Who Davis
both
is now playing for the pros for the New York Giants.
And at the college level, he turns these kids into legends at the college level.
And that's why I kind of have hope for this season, because if Cliff is putting as much time into the defense as I think he is this season, which he obviously they're saying he has, and he better be. But if he can put as much effort into the defense as he has put into the offense over the last few years, then why would you would think that they're. Why can't our defense be as good as our offense? Honestly, if he's putting enough time,
there's a mentality that is changing.
Right, absolutely.
So I say that Nick Shimanek not only will be in an NFL minicamp, throw for over 4,800 yards, 5,000 if we get to a bowl. He wins that. I'm going to say that our running backs are going to rush for over 1,200 yards, which is not too high, but it's going to be led by Desmond Nisby with over 500 yards.
That's 100 yards per game. That's pretty good still.
So So 500 plus yards for Desmond Ismie this year. What do you think about that?
I would take the over.
You're gonna take the over on that?
I really would.
I'm just hoping that the coaches see what we're seeing.
Right.
Because
I'm sure they
sometimes you got those players that are the incumbent and they stay there like Stockton at first string.
Right.
And I really hope Nisby takes that and bowls through it.
Right.
And becomes that starter by halfway through the season at least.
Oh goodness. Now let's see. What I guess in terms of hot takes, enough to cook your egg. The over-under for the amount of wins for both Lincoln Riley and Tom Herman will be 14.5.
Sweet.
And I am taking the under at 14. I think
Lincoln Riley and who?
And Tom Herman.
Okay, so Texas and OU
Yes.
have a combined record of 7 wins at the most.
I think Baker Mayfield will not be invited to New York for the Heisman Trophy.
Amen.
I don't think he has a very outside shot to win it. I don't think he even gets invited.
I hope not.
Right.
He'll be exposed without those running backs.
Right. Oh goodness. I think I already said a lot of my hot takes. I'm trying to think of another one
That's all good.
that might qualify. You know what? Let's do this. We start the season 3-0.
Okay. This is purely theoretical right now?
Purely theoretical.
Okay, this is not your prediction. This is just theoretical.
We start the season 3-0.
Okay.
We shock Oklahoma State at home.
Yeah.
We still drop Oklahoma and drop we still drop Oklahoma when we drop West Virginia. But we beat Texas on the road and we finished 10-2.
10-2.
Did I just say that?
Dude.
We only lose to Oklahoma and West Virginia on the road.
You're frying eggs right now.
I'm very aware. I kind of scare myself just saying that, to be honest with you. But you know what? Boy, Cliff has shown he can pull magic out of his hat before, and I think he might be able to do it this year also.
Man, the defense can do it this year.
The world as I know it would implode if we went 10-2.
We're going to look back at this and either just cry or high five each other.
My dad would crap his pants if we went 10-2. Not even kidding. It would be.
We need some Depends diapers.
Oh my gosh, I would do a lot of frowned upon things if we went 10-2. But anyway, Joe Mixon. No I'm kidding.
Be streaking in the streets or something.
Right.
Yeah, I mean Lubbock would be flooded with people on the streets.
So it wouldn't matter. I'd be covered up by somebody. But other than that, I think that's I'm just excited. I'm excited for Saturday to finally get some relevant Texas Tech football in front of my eyes and
game film
and to cheer on the team that I love so dearly with 1,000 of my best friends. Wreck 'em. But 3 o'clock kickoff again. If you're interested and you're free around 12:30, the West is having a tailgate with free food. Me and my roommate will be the cooks.
Get that grub.
It's a shameless plug time. It's a great place to get plugged into a Christian setting and we have a very welcoming group.
Yeah, true. That's where I know Drew from.
Absolutely, it's a great group. You'll meet some of your best friends there, no doubt about it. And you know what? If you're shy, it doesn't matter. Come by. We'll make you feel right at home. So
sounds good.
There's my shameless plug time. We'll if you want, tailgate starts at 12:30. We'll leave for the game probably 1:30, 1:45, and then believe me, when we're at the game, we get lit. It'll be
a lot of fun.
We have an over/under on the jumbotron viewing of 4.5.
That's fair. That's fair if you get there early.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so let's go. Let's kick some Eastern Washington butt.
Absolutely. Now since we're on the eve, and by the time that they're hearing this, it'll probably be Friday or so.
Okay.
Score prediction.
Score prediction just for Eastern Washington.
Yes.
I say 49-28.
Wow. I would be a huge fan of that. I'm thinking.
I just made that up on the spot. I didn't do any research into that score.
It's fine. We're not professionals. Oh gosh, I'm thinking 52 to 35.
52-35.
They push your over under on the points allowed, but we still get a convincing win. That's 14 points.
All right.
Not too bad.
Sweet. Anything else before we sign out?
I think that's it.
All right. Where do they find you, Drew?
Find me on. I'm gonna try to get my Twitter more active in the whole podcast process as well. But you can find my personal page of Drew Parker. I have a picture of me on the radio, just laughing. It's hard to miss. Or smiling, whichever one you prefer. Anyway, and then I have a RBTL, reading between the lines is what it stands for. I just say RBTL so I don't stutter over it. That's on Facebook, and I'm gonna make an Instagram page somewhat soon. I'll share this on SoundCloud. It'll be on iTunes to subscribe or download it individually. If you want to test the waters or just download one episode, that's fine. I'm not saying you should subscribe now, but give this a listen because I really enjoyed this podcast today with John, and I'll also upload it on my on my personal page, on the podcast page, on SoundCloud, and on iTunes. So you can find it pretty much anywhere. But until then, we'll try to schedule some other collab next week.
For sure.
For a recap, and then probably a preview of or whether it's gonna be 2 shows or one.
We'll probably make a shorter one.
Right. It'll be a recap at some point, and then a preview. Oh, we have bye weeks, so we don't need a preview. So we'll have a recap podcast next week with John and me here. Other than that, let's go kick. So I don't know what is our mascot?
The Eagles.
Eagles. Okay.
Maybe.
Well, let's
kick those Eagles.
Let's send them soaring out of 11 with an L, shall we?
Oh, that was pretty solid.
Sounds like a good plan. But for reading between the lines, my name is Drew. My guest.
Yeah, I am John Sterrett.
There you go, and we will see y'all next week.
Welcome.